This is our planet, the Earth. It's unique in the solar system, perhaps even in the universe. I'm Ian Stewart, and I want to show you how our planet works. In this series, I'm exploring the 4 powerful forces that have worked together to create our world.
Wow.
Volcanoes, the oceans, the atmosphere. But this week, it's ice. Ice may be nothing more than frozen water, but it holds extraordinary power. Since human beings have been on the planet, nothing has done more than ice to shape our world. It has carved the landscape, unleashed terrible catastrophes, and ice has driven the climate of the whole planet. It's even changed the course of human evolution. Yet it may also threaten our future. Only now are we beginning to understand the power of this remarkable substance.
Welcome to the world of ice.
The Alps, one of the world's great mountain ranges. Its peaks reach almost 5 kilometres into the sky. It's a vertical landscape of snow and ice, where even waterfalls can freeze. If you want to understand the power of ice to transform our world, this is a great place to begin. Okay, I may not be the best ice climber in the world, but what a way to really experience ice.
I'm 500 feet above a glacier, that's about 150 metres up, and I'm climbing a frozen waterfall. And what I'm looking for are nice clean bits of ice to put my ice axe into. This is amazing stuff, you know, because it's so solid and it can hold my weight. It really is surprising how solid ice is. Or I hope it is.
I find it astonishing that hundreds of tons of cascading water can be stopped dead in its tracks. But this frozen waterfall is nothing compared to the ice that's all around me, in the form of glaciers. I'm climbing right next to one of the largest in France, the Argentière. Glaciers are ice at its most powerful. They're nature's bulldozers, capable of completely reshaping the landscape.
Thing is, that giant icicle I've just climbed up is made of frozen water that formed this year. Whereas that glacial ice up there formed over thousands of years in a completely different way.
Glaciers are not formed from frozen water. They're made from snow. Every snowflake is formed from dozens of delicate ice crystals. No one has ever found 2 that are the same. Individual snowflakes may be fragile, but put enough together and they can create one of the most awe-inspiring sights in nature. Every year, around 1 million avalanches thunder down the Earth's mountains. But however devastating avalanches may appear to us, when it comes to reshaping the Earth, they barely even scratch the surface. It's only when snow turns into ice that it becomes so powerful it can change our world. On this ice cliff, you can actually see the transformation of snow into ice as it happens. Each year's snowfall creates distinct layers, many meters deep.
Now above me is the fresh snow from this winter, and down here this brown line is the melt from the summer before. So as you go down through these layers, the snow gets older and older. It's kind of like the rings of a tree, with each layer being a new layer of snowfall. And it's the weight of all those snowfalls building up that starts to compress the individual snowflakes together. The further down the layers you go, the harder the snow becomes until you reach here. This is a really distinctive set of snow. It's called névé, and it formed several years ago. It's really hard. I mean, I have to dig at it with my ice axe. It's amazing stuff. It's kind of like a bubbly fiberglass. It's beautiful. And what it's telling us is that we're getting close to true ice.
The more the snow is compressed, the more air is forced out of it. Removing air is what turns fluffy snow into rock-hard ice.
This is it. I've come down about 20 metres to the base of the cliff, and this is pure glacial ice. All the snowflake crystals in there have been squeezed down, and it gives us this weird texture. I mean, it's just frozen water, but it's like solid rock. Look at that. And it's got this glassy feel to it. It's almost transparent.
It might take 20 years or so, but now the air has gone, this ice is tough enough to take on the hardest rock. When enough ice forms, it slowly starts to slide downhill and becomes a glacier. And over the last few million years, the time that humans have been around, it's ice that has been the dominant force shaping our world, even changing the climate. Recorded from deep within the ice, these are the sounds of a glacier groaning and creaking as it slides down the mountain. They may move too slowly for the human eye to appreciate, but as the speeded up film of the Argentière Glacier shows, ice is very much on the move. Instruments underneath the Argentière reveal that it's travelling at half a metre a day. Here in Europe, ice is confined to high mountain ranges. But in the polar regions, it's cold enough for ice to cover vast areas of land. In Antarctica, a single ice sheet buries a continent bigger than the United States. The ice sheet is a staggering 4 kilometres thick, so only the peaks of high mountains, called nunataks, can poke through. This is a world where ice doesn't so much carve out a landscape, it is the landscape. This ice world is so huge that some of its greatest wonders can only be seen from space. These are mega dunes of ice, carved by centuries of relentless winds. Each dune is 6 kilometres from the next. Together, they cover an area twice the size of Great Britain. The polar ice even creates its own climate. The air is so cold that it holds almost no moisture. So in fact, Antarctica is the biggest and driest desert on Earth. But beneath the ice is another, even more magical world. One that's been lost for more than 10 million years. This satellite image reveals a huge area of flat ice. Flat because it's floating on top of an enormous lake. It's called Lake Vostok. It lies beneath 3 kilometres of ice. The lake has been isolated from the rest of the planet for millions of years. It may even be home to forms of life we've never seen. And thanks to radar, for the first time we can reveal the complete landscape that lies buried beneath Antarctica's ice. It's a strange and unfamiliar world of islands and mountains that's never been seen by humans. We may take it for granted that snow and ice are very much part of our world, and that glaciers and ice sheets seem to be a permanent feature of the landscape. But in fact, nothing could be further from the truth.
As far as Earth is concerned, ice is pretty unusual. For most of our planet's long history, about 90% of it has been virtually no ice at all. Even the dinosaurs that hung around for 200 million years never saw anything like this.
We're living at an unusual time. Technically speaking, we're in the middle of an ice age right now, though fortunately, a relatively warm part of one. Throughout Earth's 4.5 billion year history, ice ages have come and gone, sometimes reaching as far as the equator. But they don't happen very often, and when they do, they don't last that long, usually no more than a few million years. The most recent one, the one we're living in right now, is believed to be the result of a rather remarkable chain of events. First, around 3 million years ago, the continents of North and South America collided. The result, a warm ocean current that flowed around the equator was cut off. So now the warm water travelled north. Today we know this current as the Gulf Stream. Strange as it may seem, it was this warm current that tipped the planet into an ice age. As the warm waters evaporated, this supplied more moisture to the cold northern regions of the planet. So more snow fell. And slowly, the northern hemisphere iced over, triggering a global cooling. Over the last 3 million years, the ice has advanced and retreated more than 50 times in a cycle governed by small changes in Earth's orbit. If I was standing here 20,000 years ago, there'd be over a kilometre of ice above my head. And even though much of that is melted and retreated away, permanent ice still covers 10% of the planet's